welcome to another Premier Division show and another cracking week of Premier Division action. I was at Talca Park. I vlogged Shelbourne against St. Patrick's Athletic, so please check that vlog out. Also did a watch along on Saturday where Sligo Rovers beat Drogheda United by 2-1. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. We're going to get straight into this. We're starting a name in DC Park. We're finished Galway United 2, Dundalk 2, and I think I said in the previous show that if Dundalk get a point, it'd be a great result. It was a great result for Dundalk. Good value for the point as well. Both teams could have won it. I think Dundalk really could have won it in the last 10 minutes or so after they equalised. But Ruby gives Dundalk the lead after 12 minutes. Stephen Walsh equalised in 51. Twardek scores in 62 to give Galway the lead. You probably think Galway go on and win at that point. Bobby Burns against the former club with a brilliant right-footed finish into the back of the net to give the Lily Whites a point. The chances after that, Dundalk, where they could have won the game as well. So, in the end, I think Galway be reasonably pleased with the point. More so maybe than Dundalk in many ways. But interesting start for Dundalk. Still haven't won, but they've got 4 points on the board. It's still not bad. 1 defeat and 4 draws. And they've an interesting week coming up with Friday and Monday where they've 2 home games at Oriel against Waterford and Sligo Rovers. But this was a fantastic result for Kieran Kilduff's men, I think, in terms of performance as well, and should give them confidence. As far as Galway go, they put in a really good defensive performance against Pats. They were missing Williams, who was outstanding in that game for this particular game. And at home, they're going to be a little bit different against teams they feel they can beat, to be honest with you. They got the Bows on Friday. I can see them sitting back in that game as well, to be fair. But they were 1 down reasonably early, as I said before. Darren Horgan whipped in a cross and a Ruby finishes to give Dundalk the lead. But when they turned it around, Stephen Walsh scoring early in the second half and Twardek in 62, you think that Galway probably go on and win the game. So Dundalk should be delighted with the character to come away with that equaliser in 81 and then miss a host of chances after that. The 2 or 3 good chances where they scored 1, obviously they win the game. So Galway's still unbeaten. Oh no, they're not unbeaten at home actually. I forgot they lost to Drogheda in the opening day of the season. So they're not unbeaten at home. Probably should have got something from that. But I think they'll be reasonably pleased with the start overall. Galway, Dundalk will as well. But interesting Friday and Monday coming up for both sides. Galway will play Waterford at home as well. So finish the game in DC Park and what was an entertaining game. Galway United 2, Dundalk 2. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, at the RC, finished Waterford FC 0, Bohemians 1. And after the weekend, it transpires that Waterford are bottom of the league on 2 points, no wins. Bows are top off the table, 4 wins on the bounce, 4 clean sheets out of 5 games, and Sam Todd gave them the winner after 18 minutes. How this game finished 1-0, excuse me, I don't know. Bowles completely dominating Boss the first half. The goal they scored though, Waterford be very disappointed with that, from a corner kick, a bouncing ball in the penalty areas. Not at home by Sam Todd to give Bowles the lead, so a poor one for them to give away. But realistically, they were probably fortunate to be 1-0 down at half-time. Bowles had a number of chances. Colin Whelan was sharp in this game but couldn't find the net. Led by Dawson Devoy once again in the middle of the park with another really good performance. Flores was good for them as well. In the second half, they did improve. Waterford, to be fair, they did improve. And Tommy Lonergan missed an absolute sitter, didn't he? Which would have made it 1-1, obviously, as well. And, they seem to make changes as well. Paul Jammon taken off as well, which is interesting. He hasn't scored. He's missed a penalty. He let Lonergan take a penalty in another game. And are we starting to see the decline of Paul Jammond? Is that premature or is that a thing? Hard to know. I do think the way Waterford are playing probably isn't helping either. I think Daly likes his forwards to work really hard, do an awful lot of donkey work. And that's not to say that Podge Hammond doesn't work hard, but you need him in around the box. You need to spare him a little bit, I think, to be honest with you. And that's a bit of an issue for them. But they'd be more than happy with the performance in the second half. They'd be very disappointed that they didn't get an equaliser in the game. Bowes did have chances on the break, to be fair, in the second half as well, including at the end where they had a great chance. It just went wide. That was the last chance of the game. But no, they'll just be delighted, Bowes, just to get the 3 points. As I said, if you're 1-0 up and the game you dominate in the first half, there's a chance you might get caught. They didn't ultimately. So, after winning at home to Rovers, they were never going to get up to that level of intensity. But to go here and get the 3 points is massive. And at the moment, they're 3 points clear at the top of the table. And they'll absolutely be delighted with that. I think their next 4 home games are against teams in the so-called bottom 4, so to speak, the teams we might expect to be in the bottom 4. So that's interesting. Pretty sure they've Sligo, Rovers, Galway, Dundalk anyway at home in their next 4 home games. So yeah, interesting stuff. Great result for Bowes again, and more disappointment for Waterford. They have a big week ahead actually on Friday and Monday as well. So they played some of the teams around them. We'll get onto that in the show later on in the week. Yeah, Waterford FC 0, Bowes 1. Let me know what you think in the comments. I thought there'd be a reaction for Shamrock Rovers because I think their level of work rate wasn't good enough at Dalymount Park, to be honest with you, and they had a week break, so I thought they might have a reaction here, and they did. They'd be disappointed, I suppose, in terms of it took them till 81 minutes and a penalty where Adam Brennan does well and gets fouled. It's a penalty on 81 that wins them the game. Dylan Watts slots at home, but they'd be a little bit disappointed, as I said, that it took them that long to score. Derry City were very disappointing in the game. They completely dominated Rovers. Burke and Jack Byrne in particular to the fore in the middle of the park. For the Hoops, the Candy Stripes, they played the game. It's a difficult one. They played the game as if they were playing for a draw. If they get the draw 0-0, you say, yeah, that's all right, job done, draw at Talbot Stadium. The problem is when you do that and you don't get the result, you get criticism, don't you? And that's sort of been the situation here. The elephant in the room at the moment is James McLean. He's not settling in the centre midfield, and James McLean's had an outstanding career, and I've been a big fan of James McLean's career because he's one of those players, a great example, fantastic example. He's one of those players that has got every sinew, every ounce out of his career you could have possibly had, and that's down to desire and hard work, etc., etc. But I'm not sure he has the technical ability to play in the middle of the park, be it defensive or as a midfielder. And that's a couple of weeks in a row now. He's been run ragged in the middle of the park by players like Jack Byrne and Dawson Devoy, who are better technical players. Even if you have him trying to take the ball off the centre backs and playing passes around, that doesn't seem to be in his psyche. Could be a big decision for Tiernan Lynch to make here. Brandon Fleming was injured, so he could have put McLean. He had an excuse to put McLean on the left, and he didn't. So that's interesting. But Derry City, 5 games gone, 7 points. Probably lucky to have that many points, as I said previous. To be honest with you, but they'll hope to improve fairly quickly. All it takes is a game or two, good results, and you've everyone back on your side again. But Shamrock Rovers, Adam Brennan was another one that played really well on that left wing back position. He's really putting in a couple of good performances now for Shamrock Rovers, and they have a game in hand. They play on Monday against Shelbourne, so that's going to be an interesting game. They have an opportunity to go second in the league with a win there. So that's an interesting one. But good win for Shamrock Rovers. They're just there, aren't they? Really, Shamrock Rovers 1, Derry City 0. They need to improve, Derry. Talca Park, what turned out to be a humdinger of a game between Shelbourne and Pats. It finished Shelbourne 2, St Patrick's League 3. It was 0-0 at half time. 2 years ago, it finished 3-2 to Pats at Talca Park. Pats were also 2 up on that game. Shells got back to 2-2, and Pats also scored a late winner, reminiscent of that in many ways. But Edmondson scores his first 2 goals for Pats on 56 and 61 minutes. Harry Wood getting one back in 72 minutes. John Martin in 75. And Max Mata off the bench to get the winner in 90 minutes, and no point talking about the first half. Let's move on. So much happened in the second half. But Pats completely dominated the first 20 minutes or so of the second half. They owned the ball. Shells couldn't get out. They were passive. Pats looked sharp. Edmondson's volley from a James Brown cross was excellent in 56 to give Pats the lead. Then he scores from a corner in 61. And Shells struggled to deal with corner kicks all night, didn't they? Matt obviously scoring the header in the last minute as well. They'd be disappointed. They're missing Barrett and Casey. I think they missed Barrett's organisational skills in those terms. From Shell's point of view, they got 2 down and they decide to wake up a little bit. Excellent play from Harry Wood. I think Anang should do better. I don't think he should get caught on the near post from the finish, to be honest with you. I'd expect better from Joey Anang, being honest with you. But Wood, apart from that, does well. He gets in, tries to grab the game with a scruff of the neck from as far as Shells are concerned. And John Martin scores after a good save from Anand. Caffrey gets onto it. Good shot, good save off the post. And John Martin's there to follow up to make it 2-2. At that point, you're thinking, if anyone's going to win the game, it's going to be Shelbourne, to be fair. Suddenly, they were throwing the kitchen sink at Pats. And Pats, I think Pats were shocked a little bit because they were in so much control. And it's like a flick switched. And Shelbourne just seemed to up the intensity big time. And that seemed to surprise Pats. Catch them off guard. But Pats would be delighted with Max Mata's header on 90 minutes to give them 3 wins in a row and put them up to second in the table all of a sudden. 10 points after 5 games. They're only defeating Tala against Shamrock Rovers. But Stephen Kenny be delighted, I think. Edmondson getting off the mark. He's Keane and Mata off the mark as well. And, Keane and Mata almost have to be managed a little bit with previous injuries. So the fact that Edmondson gets 2 goals is a big help. He's a big, strong, physical lad. He can hold up the ball. And they were missing players as well. Lennon was missing. But this year they've Nugent who can step into that role. Now, I thought Nugent tired in the game later on. And Shells started to take control in midfield. Bagley had a good game for Pats. Palmer as well, another one who tired and he had to come off. The reactive Shelbourne rather than being proactive at the moment, to be honest with you. They were 1-down against Galway where they conceded in the second half, and that woke them up. They scored immediately and they nearly went on to win the game after that. It's almost like they waited to be 2 down here again, and I don't know about the system and formation they're playing. Lundgren looked sharp when he came on. Will Jarvis at wing back? No, I don't know what's going on there. Stop it, really. They need to go back to 4-3-3 and get Jarvis on the wing, maybe Lundgren in the other wing, and Wood as part of a 3 higher up. Or play 2 Roman 10s, Woodham, Jarvis. You don't bring Will Jarvis in to play wing back. End of story. Young Roach struggled a little bit in the game for them as well. He struggled a bit, I have to say. But you don't do that. But from their point of view, I think O'Brien has improved those things, particularly for the game against Rovers on Monday. But Pats look like a team, though. They look like much more so far hard-working team this year. There seems to be graft in the team, better attitude, which is the foundation which they didn't have really. So if they can, implement that for most of the season, I think they'll be delighted with that. Build that culture. They also look like they've different ways to win a game. They're not so rigid also. They can change it up, but they can put 2 up front, they can play 1 up front, they can play a 10 in behind. Jimmy Brown's been a major help at right wing back as well for Pats, I have to say. And good signs for them as well, to be fair, and an excellent win at Talca Park for Pats. But finish Shells 2, Pats 3 at Talca Park. Let me know what you think in the comments. Sligo Rovers are off the bottom of the table after they beat Drogheda by 2-1 at the showgrounds. Drogheda now having won in 3 matches. Fully deserved win for Sligo Rovers. They went in front right in half time through Will Fitzgerald. Alex Nolan, 57, made it 2. Mark Doyle scored a penalty in 61 minutes to get Drogheda potentially back into the game. Ultimately, they deserved nothing from the game. Drogheda, I think Sligo actually outworked them. Strange thing to say about Drogheda, but they did. They outworked them. They showed a lot of bite, a lot of character in this game, Sligo. And fully deserved their win. Probably Keane Kavanagh's best game we've seen for Sligo. He led the line very well, was unlucky not to score. Hit the post from a header. Had another one where he engineered a chance, didn't catch it in his left foot, but did well. And for the most part, Drogheda weren't really a threat, to be honest with you. Even late in the game, it looked like Sligo were more likely to get a third than Drogheda to get an equaliser. But Drogheda be very disappointed with a couple of goals they conceded lately. I talked how disappointed they will be with the goal they conceded against Shelbourne the previous week. 2 goals here. The first goal, it's right in half time. It looks like they're going 0-0 at half time, and a bit of a blow for Sligo because they were the better side in the first half, you would think. Corner kick right in half time, whipped in. Dennison and I think it was Ashabaji, wasn't it? At the near post, get mixed up really, to be honest with you. I think Dennison shouts for it. And it lands on Ashabaji's chest, comes out to Fitzgerald and scores. A little bit comical. But the second goal, in a way, was worse. That was more of an individual error type thing. You know what I mean? A little bit. But the second goal, from their point of view, Nolan has a free kick on the edge. Strikes with his left foot. Hits the wall. Now, comes back to Nolan, and he does well to finish. It's a very good finish, his right foot. Really good finish. But Drogheda's wall just stand there. They don't get out. They're just standing watching. As soon as that hits the wall, they should be getting straight out. And you'd expect that from Drogheda. Very unusual for me, and I don't know. They need to get back to basics a little bit. Drogheda United. They have a big game on Friday at Richmond Park against Pats on Monday at home to Rovers. If they don't get back to basics, they could be in trouble in those two games. But just the simple basics that Drogheda are really, really good at have eluded them the last few weeks, I feel. That said, they deserve nothing from the game. Sligo Rovers, the Bitter Red, deserved everything from the game. They'd be delighted with that performance. It's a performance they needed to show as well. Got a couple of goals, something that you're kind of looking around going, where the goal's going to come from. So they managed to get a lot of goals. Fitzgerald was outstanding, I think. And Nolan had a really good game. Kavanagh's best game, as I said. McManus was outstanding in the middle of the park. And McElroy, who's had a tricky few weeks, I would say, at the start of the season, had a good game for the Bitter Red too. Sargent didn't have to do an awful lot at all, did he, in this particular game? But massive, massive win for Sligo Rovers. Fully deserved. And Drogheda have to literally get back to the drawing board a little bit for Friday. And I think they will, to be fair. Sligo Rovers 2, Drogheda United 1 at the showgrounds. So that's it, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.